Hey guys, this is Final Fantasy Fan signing on with another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Nintendo Entertainment System released in 1985 in the US, in 1983 in Japan. Now this game, not this game, but this game console is probably one of the most memorable game consoles of the 1980s. Now in Japan, this wasn't called the Nintendo Entertainment System or NES. It was called the Family Computer, or Famicom for short. It didn't have this white, gray, and black style. Instead, it was like red and gold. Something like that. Red, gold, white, black, I think. Now, unlike the Famicom, this has a front-load design, and that's where the cartridges would go. But the Famicom was a top-loader. I don't know why they chose to have a front-load design, because the top-loading design would, in my opinion, would be much better. Since this is a front-load design, the 72-pin connectors in the back would have trouble reading the cartridges, and the pins wouldn't really read that well. Although for top-loaders, they would read the pins very well. I guess that's why the Famicom didn't have that much problems. Now, unlike any other game controller, it would obviously come with any kind of joystick. None of us Americans have ever seen a D-pad unless on the Game & Watch handheld series. But on the NES, we actually had a D-pad on our controller. The controller took a new design. Instead of having a joystick, obviously we got a D-pad, which is pretty comfortable. It doesn't like slip out of your hands or whatever. And then the select and start buttons is rubber. But it's not like the Super Nintendo controller where it wiggles back and forth. And then you have these two big red buttons for A and B. And when you look at them right now, it may look like they're just plain old buttons and stuff, but they actually have some kind of dent in them. So when you push down, it feels like you're pushing on Smartie candies or something that has. Never mind. It just has a little dent in there. And there's this Nintendo right there, so you know you're playing a Nintendo console, not a Sega console. The controller is pretty neat, but this came from the store for $40, so it's a little dirty around edges and stuff. This is alright. I'm getting to the controller too much. Now the controller helped the games perform very well with Super Mario Brothers and stuff. And the NES launched with Super Mario Brothers. Not the multi-cart. The multi-cart came with the action set, which was released a couple of years after '85. But it came with Super Mario Brothers, and I think it came with Duck Hunt, two separate cartridges, if I'm not correct. Now, since the NES was licensed as a toy, hence the name Nintendo Entertainment System, they tried to add some things to the Nintendo Entertainment System that made it seem like a toy and not a video game system. For one thing, it came with a zapper, or a light gun. They called it the zapper. Basically, you would use the zapper for Duck Hunt to shoot down ducks. So it's like a toy gun. You're shooting stuff. A little kid going, "Yay! Look, I'm shooting stuff." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. "Mommy, I'm shooting stuff on a TV screen." See, they kind of thought it would be like a toy. Now there are many other accessories for the Nintendo that were mostly video game based after '85. For one thing, the main accessory that came with NES back in '85 was Rob the Robot. Unfortunately, I do not have Rob the Robot because I am just starting to collect old video games. Doing this for about a year or two. And I'm probably not going to get Rob anyway because, you know, he's horrible. Watch the Irate Gamer's review of him, you'll see. But anyway, instead of the cartridges loading on top or anything, like I said before, the Famicom was a top loader. This, as many people call it, is a front loader, because the games would load inside the console. And then you have to push on both sides just to get the dang thing in. And it kind of gets on your nerves. See if this goes down. Just like that. Kind of got stuck on the edge. Lucky it survived. Let me just get this out. Okay. As you can see, the cartridges are pretty big for any kind of cartridge system you'd see today. Like the Super Nintendo, the cartridges are kind of big. Sega Genesis, the cartridges are like 10 times smaller than these things. But the Famicom cartridges were much smaller. Basically because they didn't use as much pins as the Nintendo Entertainment System cartridges. The Famicom cartridges uses 60 pins, I believe. And as you all know, the NES uses 72. But the cost of the front-load design would cause the games not to read as well. Because of, well, many people call this version the toaster design. And I don't know what you guys are thinking, but how the heck does this look like a toaster? It looks more like a microwave or an oven or something. Because, you know, you open up a door, you place it inside. You don't push down, but you put it inside and you shut the door. Yeah, that's what it should have been called. The oven Nintendo system. Instead of calling it the toaster design, call it the oven design. Yeah, call it an oven design. I'm gonna call it an oven from now on. Hey guys, wanna play some Nintendo? Yeah, go get the top loader. Oh no, you wanna play in the oven? What? Wow, dude, why'd you play your NES games in an oven? No, the oven design. See, you place your games in the front. You put it in there, you push it down, and you shut the door. It's an oven. Isn't that kind of like a toaster? No, a toaster looks nothing like that. It's an oven. That's what you call a sense of humor. Now the NES went from 85 to 95, a 10-year lifespan. In 93, they released the NES Top Loader, which unfortunately I don't have. Instead, I have a clone, as I've previously showed this in some of my other videos. It's the Yobo FC NES clone, but unfortunately, it is a top loader, which is the main reason I bought it, with frustration with this. This works better than it originally did, but since this kind of works, it doesn't really read the cartridge as well. I mainly use this for Game Genie, because for some odd reason I have yet to know, Game Genie doesn't work on this. But this, Game Genie works fine. It's just hard to take out, that's all. I think that Nintendo should have stuck with the top loader design and ditched the oven design, or toaster design, whatever you want to call it. I call it oven design. Nintendo should have stuck with a top loader design and kept it that way, because top loaders rule. I mean, who doesn't like top loaders? Ditch the oven design, get the top loader design. Top loaders rule. That's all I have to say for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Final Fantasy fan, signing out.